For decades, humanity had vanished from the maps of the galaxy. Not a single ship answered messages, not a single colony reported activity, and not even the faintest pulse of human life was detected in any known star system. Other civilizations whispered about them, told stories of their sudden disappearance, and slowly began to believe humans had become a memory. The Arelon Council, the leaders of a prosperous alien alliance, were among the many who pondered the fate of humanity. Their fleets had scanned every corner of explored space, yet there was nothing. It was as if humans had never existed, leaving only the faint trace of their old colonies as ghostly ruins drifting among the stars. Have you ever wondered why they disappeared? Admiral Krell, the Council's strategist, asked one quiet evening, in the observation chamber of the flagship Seraphiel. The room hummed with the quiet energy of the ship's engines. Outside, the stars glided past, each point of light a distant sun, each system a mystery waiting to be solved. Many have wondered, replied Commander Vera, her eyes scanning the distant nebulae. Some say they were too reckless, too curious. Others believe a catastrophe forced them to leave, but no one knows the truth. Krell leaned closer to the viewport, his mind turning over the possibilities. Whatever happened, the galaxy has moved on. Yet there are signs. Unusual energy readings in Sector 9 Delta. Massive signatures unlike anything we've cataloged, they flicker and vanish. Could it be them? Vera's ears twitched, a subtle sign of surprise in her species. Humans? After all these decades? It seems impossible. Their technology could not have survived the vacuum of lost space without constant maintenance, unless they have evolved beyond our understanding. That was the problem. Humans had always been unpredictable. Even when first encountered centuries ago, they had baffled every alien civilization they met. Their ingenuity was legendary, their creativity unmatched. Yet no one could predict them, not their actions, not their inventions, not their strategies. Now, after decades of silence, the very idea of humans returning filled the Arelon leaders with both curiosity and unease. The decision was made to investigate. A small fleet, sleek and silent, was dispatched to Sector 9 Delta. The journey was long, taking weeks as the ships moved carefully through uncharted space. Sensors constantly scanned for anomalies, and every unusual signal was examined in meticulous detail. When they finally arrived, the fleet was greeted by a strange sight. Ruins floated in the darkness, massive structures that once might have been space stations or orbital colonies. The metal was aged, scarred by time, yet some systems still hummed faintly. Sensors detected minimal life signs, but there was something else. A pattern, almost deliberate, etched across the stations. A language? Symbols? The aliens could not understand it fully. These are human constructs, said Vera, her voice barely a whisper. I've studied their old stations before. These designs, they are unmistakable. But they are different, advanced, far beyond anything we have seen in their era. Krell examined the readings. They are not abandoned in the usual sense. Systems are dormant, yes, but not dead. There is potential, energy, waiting. Someone or something has maintained these or left them prepared for someone to find. The fleet moved cautiously, sending probes into the stations. Each probe returned data that defied logic, self-repairing hulls, power systems that drew energy from nearby stars, and machines that seemed to operate without fuel, simply extracting energy from the environment. The aliens were astonished. Even their most advanced engineers could not imagine such designs. Suddenly, a signal appeared on the fleet's communication array. It was faint, but unmistakably intelligent. It contained symbols that, once decoded, formed words in the old human language. We have been away. We are here again. Come if you wish to understand. The words repeated in a loop, each time slightly clearer. The alien crews exchanged anxious looks. A message like this carried no threat, no aggression, yet the sheer audacity of it, humans, speaking after decades of silence, was enough to send ripples of excitement and fear through the fleet. Krell leaned back in his chair, heart racing. They are alive, They exist, and they have returned. But why now? And why contact us after all these years? Vera shook her head slowly. Humans do not act without reason. Perhaps they want to test us. Perhaps they wish to share something. Or perhaps they have changed in ways we cannot yet imagine. The fleet continued to explore, cautiously entering the larger stations. Inside, corridors stretched farther than sensors could reach. Holographic displays flickered on automatically as the ships approached, showing star charts, technological schematics, and something even more startling, records of other civilizations. Humans had cataloged alien species, including their own, long before contact was officially made. "It's like they've been watching us," whispered one young technician. "Learning, observing, waiting." Indeed, it seemed that humans had spent their time in the void, not lost, but growing, evolving. Their ships, their stations, and even their tools reflected a level of intelligence and creativity that went far beyond anything the galaxy had seen. Then, from deep within one of the larger stations, a sudden pulse of energy spread across the fleet. Lights flickered, displays activated, and for the first time the aliens witnessed a human presence, not physical, but in the form of an AI interface, glowing and articulate. "Welcome," it said in a calm, almost musical tone. "We have waited long. You have finally found us. You may call us humans." The words were simple, yet carried weight. The aliens, trained in diplomacy and negotiation for centuries, were stunned. Humans had not attacked, had not demanded anything, yet their presence dominated the senses. Every sensor, every system, every mind in the fleet could feel it. Humans were no longer ordinary beings. Krell straightened. This is beyond anything we expected. Not just technology, intelligence, strategy, vision. They have grown into something extraordinary while we were all thinking they were gone." Vera nodded, her antennae brushing the console in thought. "We must proceed carefully. Humans are not here to destroy clearly, but they are immense, even in their absence. Imagine what they could do now, after decades of solitude and growth." For hours, the fleet communicated with the AI. Questions were asked, answered in ways that revealed immense depth and understanding. Humans spoke of their time in the void, the experiments they had conducted, and the knowledge they had gained. They hinted at creations so vast that even entire planets could be reshaped, entire ecosystems accelerated, and energy manipulated on scales previously thought impossible. Yet there was no arrogance in their tone, only curiosity and calm intelligence. They did not boast. They simply existed, having grown, having learned, and now waiting. For what? The aliens could only guess. The night ended with a feeling none of the alien crew had ever experienced. Awe. Humans had vanished. Yes, but in their absence, they had become legends. And now they were back. Admiral Krell looked out at the stars once more. "We thought we were the masters of what we could understand, but perhaps we were never ready for humans. They have been away, yes, but they have returned not as humans we knew, but as something far greater, and the galaxy will never be the same." Vera stood beside him, silent, watching the station's energy pulse faintly against the dark void. For decades we thought they were missing, but perhaps they were only preparing for the moment when the universe was ready to see them again. The moment had finally arrived. After decades of silence, humans were no longer a rumor or a memory. They were back, and they returned not with timid scouts or small ships, but with constructs that dwarfed anything the galaxy had ever seen. From the bridge of the Arelon flagship Sci-Fi, Admiral Krell stared at the displays, struggling to comprehend the readings. The sensors detected immense shapes emerging from hyperspace. Each object was larger than many small planets, their outlines shimmering with an energy signature that was almost alive. "Impossible," muttered Commander Vera. These are not ships in the way we know them. These are worlds moving, alive, engineered, and they are human. Krell did not respond immediately. He simply stared, feeling a mix of awe and trepidation. For centuries, humans had always pushed the limits of imagination, but this surpassed even the wildest predictions. The humans had returned not as ordinary beings, but as titans of creation. The alien fleets hesitated. They had never encountered a force like this, powerful, incomprehensible, yet entirely peaceful. The massive warships moved slowly, deliberately, as if they were aware of every sensor trained on them. They cast shadows across star systems, their hulls reflecting starlight like glassy mirrors. Some of the smaller alien ships could have fit inside a single human craft without touching the walls. Then a signal appeared on the fleet's communications channels. It was not sent in the alien languages, but in a form that their translators could interpret almost instantly. The voice was calm, resonant, almost musical. "We mean no harm. We have returned to explore, to learn, and to share. Approach if you wish to see." Vera turned to Krell, her antennae twitching nervously. "They're giving us the choice. They could overwhelm us in seconds, yet they offer parley. This is done like anything I have ever seen." Krell nodded slowly. "They are not here to fight. Not yet. But their presence alone, it changes everything. Prepare the fleet for cautious approach. Maintain distance, but do not hide. Let them see that we are willing to listen." As the alien ships moved closer, the humans revealed more of their astonishing technology. Massive structures unfolded from the warships, as if alive, rearranging themselves mid-flight. Energy conduits snaked across their surfaces, drawing power from stars and nearby asteroids. Entire planets could be powered or altered by these systems. The humans' creations were not weapons in the traditional sense. They were tools of transformation, capable of changing worlds and life itself. The aliens could not stop staring. Even their most advanced scientists, engineers, and strategists could not comprehend the level of mastery the humans displayed. Every ship was a marvel, combining art, engineering, and intelligence in a way that felt almost sentient. Then, the humans sent another message. "We observe. We understand. We wish to share what we have learned. But first, you must see. Approach with curiosity, not fear." It was an invitation and a challenge. The alien fleet slowly moved forward, still cautious, still uncertain. As they approached, they noticed subtle changes in the environment. Small asteroids were lifted gently, rearranged, and used to create new formations. Energy patterns shifted in the void, forming displays that were not only functional but visually breathtaking, as if the humans were combining engineering with art. Vera's voice trembled with excitement. "They are showing us what they can do, without aggression. Every move is deliberate, calculated, yet beautiful. This is more than technology. It is intelligence, expressed as creation." Krell nodded, unable to speak. The humans were demonstrating power unlike anything the galaxy had ever known, but not to intimidate or conquer. They were demonstrating possibility. They were showing what could be achieved when intelligence, creativity, and patience combined. Hours passed as the fleets observed. Then, the humans sent something unexpected. A message not as text, but as a simulation. Holographic projections appeared in space, forming complex structures, living ecosystems, and entire star systems in miniature. The aliens watched in awe as the humans demonstrated how barren planets could be transformed into thriving worlds, how energy could flow through matter like water, and how life could be accelerated and guided without destruction. "These are lessons," whispered Vera. "They are teaching us, showing us how they think, how they create, and yet they do not impose. They simply demonstrate." Krell felt a chill run through him. Humans had always been unpredictable, but now it was clear. They had returned not as conquerors, but as teachers. Their power was unimaginable, but it was wielded with wisdom and restraint. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Suddenly, one of the massive human warships detached a smaller vessel. It moved slowly toward the alien fleet, signaling them to follow. The smaller craft was enormous by any standard, capable of carrying entire cities, yet it moved with precision and care. The aliens debated what to do. Could they trust these humans? Could they risk approaching? Finally, Krell made the decision. We follow, we observe, but we remain cautious. This is history in the making. The smaller human craft led the fleet to a region of space filled with dormant stations and constructs, remnants of humanity's past explorations. Yet even these old structures had been enhanced, upgraded, and integrated into a larger system. The aliens realized that humans had been at work even in their absence, reshaping the galaxy quietly, deliberately, and without conflict. Then, the humans communicated again, their voice calm and steady. We have returned not to dominate, not to conquer. We have grown while absent, learning, observing, creating. We invite you to witness, to understand, and to grow with us, if you choose. The aliens were stunned. For centuries, they had encountered advanced species that sought power, conquest, or resources. Humans were different. Their power was immense. Yet it was offered not as a threat, but as an opportunity. Krell looked at Vera. They are testing us, not with combat, but with observation. They want to see how we respond, whether we are ready for what they have become. Vera nodded slowly. And I think we are ready. If we can understand them, we can learn. We can grow. They are not here to destroy. They are here to elevate. As the fleets continued to follow the humans, the alien crews noticed something even more astonishing. The human ships were not static. They adapted. Energy shields shifted, hulls reconfigured, and systems repaired themselves in real time. Every human warship seemed alive, as if it had consciousness, able to think and respond to any situation instantly. This is unimaginable, whispered one young technician. Their ships, they are like living beings, and yet they are humans, or something more. Krell nodded. They are the same species we knew, but evolved far beyond us. For decades, we believed they were missing, but they were never lost. They were preparing. The humans then sent a final message for the day. Do not fear us. We do not seek war. We do not seek dominance. We seek curiosity, understanding, and cooperation. Approach with respect, and you will see wonders beyond imagination. Approach with fear, and you will learn nothing. The aliens fell silent. They had never been addressed like this, never challenged to grow, to observe, to understand. Humans were not asking for allegiance or obedience. They were asking for respect and curiosity. That night, as the alien fleet rested in the shadow of one of the massive human ships, Krell stood at the observation deck once more, staring at the colossal vessel. It was larger than a planet, yet delicate, intelligent, and precise. They have returned, he said softly. Not to fight, not to dominate, but to show us what is possible, and we are witnessing the birth of something extraordinary. Vera stood beside him, her eyes reflecting the glow of the human ship. For decades we thought they were gone. For decades we believed they were lost. But now they have returned, and the galaxy will never be the same. Somewhere, far beyond the alien sensors, the humans waited. Not for battle, not for conquest, but for recognition. They had grown, evolved, and mastered their craft in ways no other species could imagine, and now the universe would finally see what humans had become. The first contact was not violent. It was not hostile. It was not a war. It was a revelation, a glimpse of humanity's boundless potential. And the galaxy would never forget the moment when humans returned, not as missing explorers, but as titans of creation. The alien fleets had followed the humans for days, moving cautiously through the dark stretches of space, yet always in awe. Every moment revealed something new, something unimaginable, something that challenged the very way the galaxy had understood life, technology, and intelligence. From the bridge of the Arelon flagship Serapel Admiral Krell watched a display that left him almost speechless. One of the enormous human ships, larger than many inhabited planets, had unfolded structures like petals of a flower. Energy pulsed along its surfaces in patterns that were not just functional but aesthetically beautiful. The ship was alive, not in a biological sense, but in intelligence and responsiveness. Systems repaired themselves instantly, hulls reshaped as needed, and energy flowed like water through veins. "They are thinking," Vera whispered beside him. "Not like our AIs, not like machines we know, but alive, adaptive, intelligent. Their technology, it learns." Krell nodded slowly. "And it is human. These are humans, but they are beyond what we imagined. Everything we learned about them in the past, it is only a fraction of what they have become." Then the humans acted in a way that astonished the alien observers. They began terraforming a barren moon, one that had been lifeless for centuries. Energy beams danced across the surface, rearranging minerals, igniting small reactions that triggered atmospheric changes. Within hours, plants began to sprout. Oxygen appeared in detectable amounts, and the temperature stabilized to a level suitable for life. One of the alien scientists, a species that prided itself on engineering skill, could hardly believe what they were seeing. This is impossible," she muttered. "No species could do this in such a short time. It would take us centuries to accomplish a fraction of what they just did." Vera turned to her. "And yet they are not imposing. They are showing, teaching, demonstrating, not taking, not controlling, simply giving knowledge and inspiration." The humans transmitted another message, their calm voice filling the communication channels. "Observe. Learn. We do not rush. We do not demand obedience. Growth comes from understanding, not fear. Watch and understand the potential of cooperation, creativity, and vision." Curiosity overcame caution. The alien fleets moved closer, entering the orbit of the transformed moon. Humans sent small craft to interact directly, their surfaces glowing softly, radiating intelligence. Alien engineers were invited aboard these vessels. Once inside, they were amazed to find living systems, machines that responded to thought, AI interfaces that taught without condescension, and designs that adapted to the individual learning styles of the observers. These humans. "One," engineer said softly, almost reverently. "They do not just build things, they guide understanding. They make us think, not just follow instructions." In the following days, the humans demonstrated more. They accelerated ecosystems, showing how entire food chains could be established in days instead of millennia. They manipulated energy fields to stabilize small stars and enhance resources for life. They demonstrated methods for faster-than-light communication and construction that allowed entire fleets to be built in weeks rather than decades. But perhaps the most astonishing lesson was their approach to problem-solving. The humans presented the aliens with a challenge, a small, barren planet with unstable energy fields that threatened to collapse. The humans did not solve it themselves. Instead, they guided the alien engineers, offering insight, asking questions, and encouraging exploration. For the first time, the aliens realized that humans did not rely solely on power. They relied on creativity, on observation, on intuition, and on teamwork. Solutions were not forced, they were discovered. Every interaction revealed layers of intelligence that no alien race had previously encountered. Krell watched the alien teams as they worked alongside the humans. For centuries, the galaxy had measured species by their strength, their technology, their weapons. But here, strength was meaningless. It was intellect, collaboration, and vision that mattered. The humans were teaching the galaxy not through dominance but through guidance. One evening, after a long day of observation and experiments, the Arelon scientists gathered on the deck of their flagship. They discussed what they had seen, their voices filled with wonder. "They are not like anything we imagined," one said. "All our assumptions about humans were limited. They are not just survivors, not just explorers. They are masters of creation itself." "And yet," Vera added thoughtfully, They do not impose. They share. They inspire. That is the real lesson. Power without guidance is dangerous. Knowledge without wisdom is wasted. Humans have both in abundance. Krell remained silent for a moment, staring at the massive human warship in orbit above the moon. We have judged species for centuries based on conflict, conquest, and survival. But humans have shown us a different path. Growth, creation, understanding. They lead not by fear but by curiosity and wisdom. And that is true strength. The humans then demonstrated another capability. They accelerated the growth of a small alien colony on a nearby planet. Within hours, structures that had taken decades to build were completed. Resources were allocated, energy stabilized, and life support systems optimized. The alien inhabitants were amazed. Not only had they witnessed this incredible feat, but the humans allowed them to take part, to learn, to adapt the methods for themselves. This is revolutionary, one of the alien leaders whispered. We have never encountered a species willing to teach in such a way. Always before, technology was a tool for power, for dominance, but humans make it a tool for growth. Krell could see it in the eyes of his crew. They were no longer just observers, they were students. Every interaction, every demonstration, every lesson from the humans sparked ideas, imagination, and hope. The galaxy that had once been cautious, fearful, and divided now felt a glimmer of something new, a possibility of unity and advancement. Then the humans communicated again. Do not fear what you do not understand. Growth comes through curiosity, patience, and collaboration. Every species has potential. We are here to show what is possible, not to dominate, but to guide. Learn, adapt, and share. Together, the universe can achieve more than any single species alone. For the aliens, these words were not just communication, they were philosophy. They realized that humans had evolved not just in technology, but in thought. Humans had spent decades in isolation, not as exiles, not as victims, but as learners. They had mastered systems, life, and intelligence on scales no one had imagined, and now they were offering it to the galaxy. The lessons continued for weeks. Alien scientists learned to harness energy in ways they had never thought possible. Engineers learned to create adaptive systems that could respond to environmental changes instantly. Leaders learned strategies of problem-solving, cooperation, and long-term planning that emphasized creativity over aggression. But perhaps the most important lesson was the philosophy itself. Humans had shown that true greatness was not about destruction, conquest, or control. It was about curiosity, learning, and creation. It was about guiding others without domination, and it was about inspiring those around you to reach heights they had never imagined. Vera stood on the deck of the Scifi, looking at the humans' massive ship as it hovered above the planet. For decades, we believed humans were lost. For decades, we thought they had vanished. But they were never missing. They were preparing not just for themselves, but for the galaxy. Krell nodded. And now that they are back, the universe will never be the same. They are not rulers, not conquerors, no, but teachers, creators, and innovators. We are witnessing the rebirth of possibility itself. The alien fleets watched in awe as the humans completed another transformation. This time, a small moon, barren and lifeless, blossomed into a thriving ecosystem, complete with flowing rivers, forests, and signs of life. The display was not just about technology. It was about vision, patience, and the ability to see potential where others saw nothing. And as the aliens looked on, they understood something profound. Humans were not just back. They were beyond. What the galaxy had imagined, ready to teach, inspire, and lead. Not through fear, but through brilliance, creativity, and wisdom. The first real lessons had been learned, and the galaxy, once fearful of the missing humans, now stood on the edge of a new era, a future shaped not by conflict but by understanding. The humans had returned not with weapons but with wonders, yet the alien civilizations could sense there was more. something they could not yet understand. The humans' calm demonstrations, their extraordinary technology, and their patience in teaching had inspired awe. But now a new challenge emerged, one that would test not strength but collaboration. A massive human ship, larger than many inhabited planets, appeared at the center of a barren system. Its surface shimmered with energy channels that spread into space, connecting to nearby asteroids and small moons. The humans transmitted a simple message to the alien fleets. We have prepared a test, not of combat, but of unity. Work together, learn together, and you will understand. Fail, and you will learn nothing. Admiral Krell and Commander Vera exchanged glances. This was new. Humans had demonstrated incredible power and intelligence, yet now they were challenging the aliens. Not to be impressed, but to act. What do you think it means? Krell asked. Vera paused, studying the massive ship. I think they want to see if we can work together. They already know our individual abilities. Now they want to test cooperation, strategy, and creativity. The alien fleets gathered in the system, cautiously approaching the central human vessel. They noticed that the environment around the ship was unstable. Rogue energy streams swirled, asteroids drifted unpredictably, and small gravity wells shifted constantly. It was dangerous, but the humans had designed it intentionally, as part of the challenge. Then a calm voice resonated across the fleets. The goal is simple: stabilize the system, protect the moons, control the energy flows, and prevent chaos. You have the knowledge you possess, and you have guidance from us. Work together and you will succeed. Act alone, and failure will follow. Observe, plan, communicate, create. The alien leaders hesitated. Their species had been trained for centuries in independent thinking, tactical command, and self-preservation. Cooperation across species was rare. Yet here, humans demanded unity, and the stakes were clear. Krell made a decision. We proceed together. Every fleet will coordinate, every species will share knowledge. The humans are not threatening us, they are guiding us. We must trust them, and each other. The fleets moved into position. At first, chaos reigned. Each species acted according to its own instincts. Energy streams collided, small moons were misaligned, and rogue asteroids threatened to collide. The humans observed silently, intervening only subtly, guiding with gentle energy pulses and suggestions that only careful observers would notice. Vera studied the patterns. They're giving us clues without telling us what to do. We must see the connections, understand the flow, and act as one. Slowly, the alien fleets adapted. Engineers from different species communicated through translators, sharing strategies. Pilots coordinated maneuvers, learning from each other's techniques. Scientists adjusted energy flows in concert, balancing power across the system. The humans' presence was steady, reassuring, almost invisible. Yet every action by the humans guided the aliens toward success. Hours passed. The system began to stabilize. Energy flows synchronized. Moons found balanced orbits. Asteroids were gently moved into safe positions. The chaotic environment slowly transformed into harmony. Then the humans projected a visual demonstration across the fleet. The chaotic system they had presented now shimmered with perfect balance. Every movement, every adjustment, every small correction had contributed to a system that was alive, stable, and beautiful. You have done well, the human message said. You have demonstrated unity, creativity, and observation. You have learned the first lesson. Strength lies not in power alone, but in cooperation and intelligence. True growth comes when beings work together toward a shared goal. The alien crews stared in awe. They had faced challenges before, battles, cosmic storms, and unpredictable phenomena, but never had they experienced a test that required intellect, coordination, and creativity across species. The humans had not only designed the challenge, they had inspired the aliens to reach beyond what they thought possible. Vera turned to Krell. This is more than a test. It is a lesson in philosophy. They are showing us what it means to be advanced, not through conquest, but through guidance, understanding, and patience. Krell nodded slowly. They are proving that their greatness is not just in their technology, but in their minds, their values, and their approach. They elevate those around them rather than dominating them. The humans then demonstrated another facet of their wisdom. Using subtle energy manipulations, they allowed the alien fleets to experiment with solutions. They could see the effects of their actions in real time, and the humans offered feedback that guided without controlling. Every alien species contributed something unique. Some had precision engineering, others had intuition about energy flows, and others excelled in strategic coordination. Together, they created results far greater than any single species could have achieved alone. "It's beautiful," whispered one young alien engineer. "We are working as one, and yet each contribution is different. Each skill matters. Each decision counts. Humans designed the system to make us see our potential together." Krell felt a sense of pride he had never experienced. Not pride in himself, but pride in the species he represented and in the unity of the galaxy. Humans had returned not to dominate or threaten, but to inspire growth, collaboration, and understanding. As the test concluded, the humans sent one final message across the fleets. "The universe is vast, and potential is everywhere. Strength alone cannot shape it. Knowledge without wisdom is empty. Cooperation without vision is wasted. Learn to combine your abilities, to respect the abilities of others, and to create. That is the path to true greatness." The alien leaders realized that this was not just a test, it was a gift. Humans had offered them a way to see their own potential, to transcend old limitations, and to approach the galaxy with curiosity and collaboration, rather than fear and conflict. Krell and Vera stood on the observation deck, looking at the transformed system. Stars, moons, and energy streams now moved in perfect harmony, a reflection of the cooperation the humans had inspired. "They have taught us without giving answers," Vera said softly. "They guided us, showed us the possibilities, and made us discover solutions ourselves. That is extraordinary." Krell nodded. "For decades we believed humans were missing, gone from the galaxy. But in truth, they were preparing for moments like this. They have evolved not just technologically but philosophically, and now they are showing us the path to advancement, not through force, but through wisdom, creativity, and unity." The alien fleet spent the following days consolidating what they had learned. They practiced coordination, shared knowledge, and began planning future collaborations. The humans continued to offer guidance, introducing new challenges designed not to test strength but to expand imagination and strategic thinking. It became clear the humans' purpose was not conquest, nor was it merely teaching technology. Their purpose was to uplift, to inspire, and to demonstrate that true greatness lay in creation, understanding, and shared effort. Vera watched a holographic display of the stabilized system. The moons, asteroids, and energy flows now resembled a living organism, each part interacting in harmony. This is more than a lesson. It is a vision of what is possible when intelligence, creativity, and cooperation combine. Krell smiled quietly. "And the best part is, this is just the beginning. The humans are showing us not only what they can do, but what we can do together. If the galaxy follows their example, the possibilities are limitless." As the alien fleets prepared to depart the test system, the humans left them with one final message. "Remember this: every species has potential. Every mind, every skill, every idea contributes to creation. Greatness is not taken. It is discovered, nurtured, and shared. Learn this, and the universe will grow brighter." For the first time in decades, the alien civilizations felt hope. Not fear, not caution, not rivalry, but genuine hope. Humans had returned, yes, but they were not here to rule. They were here to guide, to inspire, and to elevate the galaxy itself. And for the first time, The aliens realized the truth they had only glimpsed before. Humans were not merely a species. Humans were a force of creation, ingenuity, and vision, and the galaxy had the privilege of witnessing their return. The test of unity was complete, and with it came a profound understanding. The humans' greatness lay not in their immense power, but in their ability to inspire growth, collaboration, and creativity in everyone around them. The galaxy had been given a gift, a glimpse of what was possible when intelligence and vision worked together. The galaxy had changed. For decades, civilizations had thought humans were lost, vanished without a trace. Now the humans had returned, not as conquerors, not as warriors, but as creators, teachers, and guides. Their presence alone radiated intelligence, vision, and patience, and every species that had witnessed it felt a profound shift. The alien fleets had followed the humans through uncharted sectors, observing their technology, learning from their philosophy, and participating in tests that challenged cooperation and ingenuity. But this was only the beginning. Humans were not here to merely display power. They were here to uplift the galaxy itself. A massive human warship, larger than several planets combined, hovered in orbit above a small, uninhabited system. Its surface shimmered with energy flows that connected asteroids, moons, and the local star, creating a network of power and resources unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. It was not a weapon. It was a machine of creation. Admiral Krell, aboard the flagship Scifi, watched the Yo, seen in awe. For decades we thought humans were missing. For decades we assumed their knowledge was gone with them. But all that time they were preparing, evolving, and growing beyond what we imagined. Commander Vera nodded. And now they are showing us the way, not to dominate but to inspire, to teach, and to create alongside us. That is the real measure of greatness. The humans began their first act of galactic restoration. They selected barren worlds, moons, asteroids, even entire planets, and transformed them. Energy fields stabilized unstable environments. Water was created from minerals. Atmospheres formed, adjusted to sustain life. Small ecosystems emerged, and slowly, life began to take hold. The aliens observed, stunned. Each act was a combination of intelligence, patience, and care. One young alien engineer whispered in disbelief, "It is beautiful." They do not conquer. They do not impose. They create life where there was none, and they allow us to participate. Every act teaches. Every system inspires. I have never seen anything like it. The humans sent a message, their voice calm and warm across all fleets. We have returned to guide, to share, and to explore together. Power alone does not create. Knowledge alone does not grow. Cooperation, vision, and creativity shape the future. Join us in this journey, and the universe can reach heights no single species could achieve. The aliens realized the depth of the humans' philosophy. They had not returned to take control. They had returned to demonstrate the true meaning of advancement, creation, collaboration, and understanding. Every lesson, every demonstration, every interaction was designed not to showcase dominance, but to inspire potential. In the following weeks, alien civilizations began working directly with the humans. Engineers learned to manipulate energy on cosmic scales. Scientists mastered techniques for accelerating ecosystems, and leaders studied strategies of collaboration and problem-solving that emphasized innovation over fear. Entire worlds transformed. Deserts bloomed into forests. Dead oceans teemed with life. Small moons became habitable, with stable climates and breathable atmospheres. The galaxy itself began to shift, not through conquest or war, but through creativity and cooperation. Vera observed the transformations, amazed. They have shown us that greatness is not measured by destruction or control, but by the ability to create, to guide, and to uplift. Every species now has the potential to reach further than we imagined. Krell nodded, a rare smile on his face. We once measured species by their strength in combat. their ability to conquer. But humans teach us something different. True power lies in creation, in wisdom, and in cooperation. The galaxy is learning from them, and we are only beginning to understand. Even the youngest aliens were inspired. Students from various species boarded human vessels to learn, observing AI systems that adapted to each learner, tailoring lessons and demonstrations to individual abilities. They explored the vast ships, marveling at technology that was alive, intelligent, and responsive. One student said quietly, "I thought humans were just another species, but they are something more. They think in ways I cannot imagine, yet they teach in ways I can understand. They make us better." The humans encouraged exploration and creativity, never forcing obedience, never demanding loyalty. Their philosophy was simple yet profound. Every species has potential. Every mind, every skill, every idea contributes to creation. The galaxy's future was not written by a single hand, but shaped by many, guided by curiosity and understanding. Krell reflected on the journey. We feared humans when they disappeared. We feared their power when they returned. But now, we understand. They are not a threat. They are a gift. They show us what is possible when intelligence and vision work together. The humans continued to expand their work across the galaxy. They stabilized star systems, taught advanced medicine that healed entire populations, and shared techniques for sustainable energy that could power civilizations for millennia. Alien species began to adapt these teachings, improving their own worlds, their technology, and their societies. One evening, Vera stood with Krell on the observation deck, watching a human vessel slowly rotate in orbit above a planet newly transformed into a thriving ecosystem. The planet shimmered with life, forests and rivers glinting under the light of its star. "They have changed everything," Vera said softly. "Not by force, not by war, but by showing us what is possible. Entire species, entire worlds. They have inspired us to reach higher, to create more, to grow." Krell smiled. The galaxy has been given a choice. Follow fear or follow curiosity. Humans lead by example, showing that cooperation, intelligence, and creativity are greater than any weapon. That is their gift, and it is more powerful than anything we could have imagined. As the weeks passed, humans began establishing open networks of communication and knowledge sharing. Libraries of information, scientific data, and philosophical teachings were made available to all species willing to learn. They offered guidance on technology, ecology, social organization, and even ethics. Alien societies flourished under this guidance. Conflicts decreased as understanding increased. Resources were shared more efficiently. Education became widespread. The galaxy was learning not through fear or domination, but through inspiration, guidance, and collaboration. The humans' message to all civilizations was clear. Greatness is not taken by force. Knowledge is not hoarded. Power is not used to dominate. True strength lies in creation, understanding, and collaboration. Work together, explore together, and the universe will flourish. Every mind, every skill, every effort counts. Create, share, and grow. And the galaxy listened. For the first time in centuries, species that had once feared each other worked together to explore new worlds, stabilize dying systems, and create thriving ecosystems. Entire civilizations advanced at a pace never before imagined. And humans, always calm, patient, and observant, guided the process, not as rulers but as mentors, innovators, and friends. Krell and Vera watched from their deck as one of the massive human warships lifted small asteroids and rearranged them to form new habitats for emerging life. The alien fleets below were inspired, participating and learning, contributing their unique skills to the transformation. "They are more than a species," Vera said quietly. "They are a vision of what intelligence, creativity, and cooperation can achieve when guided by wisdom." Krell nodded. "For decades we thought they were missing. Now we know the truth. Humans were never lost. They were evolving, preparing, and waiting for the galaxy to be ready. And now that we are ready, the universe itself is changing. The humans' work continued, slowly, deliberately, and brilliantly. New worlds blossomed, old ones thrived again, and alien civilizations found hope and inspiration in their guidance. The galaxy had entered a new era, not of fear, conquest, or survival, but of learning, creation, and cooperation. As Krell looked out at the stars, he realized that the galaxy had been given a rare gift. Humans had returned, not to rule, not to dominate, but to elevate. And in their presence, the entire universe had the chance to grow, to explore, and to become more than it had ever imagined. And somewhere among the stars, the humans waited, patient and calm, watching as the galaxy embraced the future they had always envisioned. Not with weapons, not with threats, but with intelligence, creativity, and the ability to inspire greatness in all who would follow. For decades, they had been missing. Now the humans' warships were greater than planets themselves, not because of size, but because of vision, knowledge, and the endless potential they brought to the universe. And the galaxy, once timid and cautious, now stood ready to join them in a new era of possibility, wonder, and growth. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and with it, humanity had shown the universe its greatest power. Not destruction, not dominance, but the ability to inspire, create, and elevate all life.